Wow, we've got 5. Okay, Yvonne, you be one of the judges. You stay right over here. And will you be, Deborah, will you be one of the judges? And we'll have these 3 educators here. So there are 3 new employees that are coming to your facility. And here's the first one. It's an earth ball. And part of the skill set of what they have to learn how to do is to bounce. So let's have the audience vote. How many people think an earth ball will bounce well? Raise a hand. An earth ball. Okay. Oh, good. You have your hand up. You'll get that one. All right. So next up, we have a koosh ball. Part of what the koosh has to do is bounce every day, but it's good to find a positive thing about a new employee, right? So what's a good thing about a koosh? It is easy to catch. That's yours, Susan. There you go. The third employee is a rock. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What's your name? Florence, I'm so sorry. You're getting the rock. Now hold on. We're going to vote again. Who thinks the earth will do best in a bounce-off contest here? Raise a hand. Versus the others. Who's voting for the koosh guy? Raise a hand. And how about the rock? There's a few. There's a few. Now, see, what really good educators do is they motivate their new colleague to bounce, because that's the job. They have to do every day. They have to bounce. So we're going to have a bounce off, and we have the 2 judges right here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, bounce it. And the 3 of you are going to put your energy into, oh goodness, into your new employee. And the judges and the whole audience will see which one is the highest performer. Right now, most people voted for the earth, right? Okay, we'll see what happens. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, bounce it. Wow. Don't worry about it. Look. Okay, the official word from the judges. Who won that? The rock outperformed the other 2. Florence. All right. I was so distracted by that. Who came in second? Judges? It was the earth ball? Okay. All right. How'd the little kooshie do? Wah, so sorry. So let's give our 3 volunteers and the judges a big hand. Thank you. What are the factors that affected motivation here? What are the factors that affected how well those new employees did? What are some of the factors that affected how high the balls bounced? Who would like to throw an idea out? What affected it? Okay, the equipment they were given. Let's look at the 3 balls they had there, right? Each of them very unique. A koosh ball, it was designed by a man trying to teach his 2 young sons to catch a ball without it hurting their hands, and for that it's perfect. The earth is actually a stress ball. Look at this. See how good that is for relieving stress? And the rock is actually made of Super Ball material, but you wouldn't think that just looking at it. Does this sound familiar? Sometimes I've thought to myself, and I've walked down the hall many times saying this: she got other gifts. He got other gifts. They got other gifts. Be honest. But sometimes what happens is our perception is not always correct. And sometimes, what can I say about that? Sometimes we misperceive them. Sometimes they misperceive us. What about the environment we were bouncing on? If we were doing this on sand or a gymnasium, would we have gotten a little bit of a different result? Yes. So there are several factors we could talk about that have to do with learner motivation. All something you can't put your hands on, a soft item. But sometimes I think it's best to take conceptual things and make them concrete and relatable with props. And that's what you just saw, a creative idea on how to do that. I'd like to share 2 more creative ways to teach. While we're at it, here's the second idea. history is important, but beignets are right across the street. Yay! Yay! Yes, this is famous Jackson Square. It's where the city began. It's one of the highest points in the city. People call this area the Vieux Carré, which is the old square. There's much history in this area, and she's right by the river across the street, are beignets. So a little bit of enjoying that, too. Second idea coming.
Michelle!
I would like to talk to them,
Michelle,
Annie.
Michelle.
You're making me dizzy. What can I say? Please, let me do the second idea, and then you'll get to tour them again. All right, so we have assessment skills. So put your assessment hat on. Put your observation hat on. I'm going to show you a picture for just a few seconds. I want you to study the 15 items closely. Okay, what's changed? Turn to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor. 60 seconds. What's changed? Okay, thank you for talking to your neighbor. Thank you. So what's something that disappeared? BB-8. BB-8 is gone. What else is gone? Keys are gone. What else is gone? Coffee mug is gone. What else? Well, people have other theories. What about that marker? What color was it before? And now it is. And was there a coffee mug there? But what's happened to it? Oh, yes, it's changed, hasn't it? How important is observational skills? And do you ever say to people, you know, you could get better at it, and they're like, oh, no, I'm perfect at it. Well, they may or may not be. Because then we could show them this picture, and I could ask you, what do you notice that's wrong about this picture? What about that left arm? It's missing a muscle. That left arm is not the same size as the right arm. Okay, let's try another one. Oh, she's so pretty. What's wrong with this picture? Any pediatric nurses looking at her color? Because this is what a heart baby looks like whose SATs are in the 80s. She's beautiful, just as she is. So the second thing that I would say is sometimes start with something that makes people aware, like picture of things that disappear, and then move it into relevance of practice. With pictures of patients or things that are relevant, start with something safe. I know all of us are expert assessors, but there may be some people we could teach something to about that. And then what? We have time to do math. So put your math hats on. This is the third and final creative teaching idea here. Time to do math. Here it is. You have 26 surgical inpatients with wound evisceration such as this one. One patient gets discharged. How many patients do you have left to see? Do math in your head, or if you need a pencil or a phone. Okay. How many people say 26? They haven't been discharged yet. How many people say 25? How many people say 27? They're filling the beds around the patient. Let's see what the right answer is. The correct answer, of course, is 19. What? Huh? Well, look at what it says. They have 26 surgical inpatients to see with eviscerations. Let's all moan together. Oh. If you think verbal communication is always 100% accurate and is perceived wonderfully by everybody, guess what, folks? This proves it is not. So you and I have to look at a variety of ways to teach people, not just verbal explanation. There has to be more than that. So now what? Now, your turn to think. What is the best idea you've learned? That third one, I had you experience. Yes, verbal communication is not always accurate. So the more you make your learners experience, the better it moves into long-term memory. So here we go. Stand up, face your teammates. You have 90 seconds only to talk about which of those three is your best idea. When you're finished, clap and sit down. Go. Let's give everybody a big hand for sharing ideas. Yay! So we can transform our teaching with creative ideas, can't we? With new approaches. We can transform our practice. But we can also transform personal barriers. And let's look at it like this. We all have rocks we carry. Some rocks are small, like this guy's. Wow. Just wow. I agree, Annie. That is interesting. But you know what? There are people that we meet, and maybe somebody sitting right next to you, whose personal barriers are bigger than that. And they may feel overwhelmed by those personal barriers. Sometimes we don't know that. Everybody has rocks they carry. And so sometimes we have to think about personal transformation. Some people have multiple rocks, like this guy, that he's organized in little stacks, and that he's carrying very successfully, isn't he? No one needs to help him here. What do you mean? I'm a rock? I hate that you're interrupting me all the time. You have become a rock. That's right. You're interrupting me. Today, Annie is my rock here. Yes, indeed. So think about that. Sometimes we're teaching people who are carrying rocks. Sometimes the people we love are carrying rocks. Sometimes the people sitting next to us here at ANPD are carrying rocks. We don't know. We don't know what someone's transformation barrier may be. But we want to transform our rocks into something positive. And what we see here is the happy rock in Gladstone, Manitoba, Canada. Look at him. He's all dressed up. And he's on top of a rock that's actually a restroom. What a terrific way to transform a restroom.
The happy rock is in Gladstone, get it?